Once again, this year, the international community of productive learning educators met to hold the 21st International Network of Productive Learning Projects in Schools, INEPS Congress, which on this occasion was held in Europe's leading country on educational issues, Finland. Its capital, Helsinki, was the host city. This modern, cosmopolitan city, in a truly natural setting on the shores of the Baltic Sea, gave a warm welcome to all, with the sun preparing itself to dominate the summer days and nights. The INEPS Congress took place in Alpila Comprehensive School and was organized by the teaching staff of the Omaura and Japo project, in collaboration with the Frölunda Gymnasium in Gothenburg and with the support of the Finnish National Board of Education. In the opening ceremony, the head of the school and the president of INEPS welcomed the more than 100 participants from 14 European countries and the United States. They both agreed on the emergence of new educational approaches responding to needs posed by Europe's diverse, plural society, which is now, moreover, plunged in a situation of social and economic crisis. The various key speeches that followed offered interesting arguments for reflection. Firstly, regarding the paradoxes faced by Finland, a country admired for its high level of technological innovation and excellence in educational matters, but at the same time suffering a school absenteeism in certain youth profiles that are destined to failure and social exclusion. Fortunately, Finland is also a country that applies major solutions quickly and efficiently to major problems. An example of the implementation of flexible education projects, JUPO classes, throughout the country in a short period of time, following the philosophy of the now veteran Omaura projects, with productive learning as an applied methodology. It is evident that we learn, above all, from practices and experimentation, especially when these take place in real work situations and in learning environments beyond the four walls of the classroom. Under the slogan of exploring innovative environments of productive learning, the Congress was dedicated to this premise of productive learning, offering participants the chance to develop learning processes acting directly in different environments. The program, planned for the day of the orientation, also included a market presentation designed to give the countries present at the Congress an opportunity to get to know each other and to find out about the situation of productive learning in each of them. Just like a student's keen to find adventure and new forms of learning, the educators, divided into groups, traveled around the city and surroundings to reach the different learning sites awaiting them. Museums, schools and specialized centers were open to them for a few days to allow them to experience and learn directly in the fields of technology and science and art, throughout design, photography and theater, and about multimedia techniques, nature and ecology. Experimentation, creation, production, these were the initial goals, to be followed later by an analysis of methods, techniques, strategies and different skills with which to enrich the activity and the learning processes of our students. In order to get a first-hand understanding of the reality of education in the country, the educators attending the Congress had the chance to visit 5 different schools, 3 of which were in Helsinki, and the others in the nearby cities of Espoo and Vantaa. The managing staff of each school gave an exhaustive presentation of their school's characteristics, pupils' profiles, percentage of immigrants, programs in the center, financial resources, cooperation with parents and principal problems associated with absenteeism, lack of motivation and disruptive behavior in some pupils. The most interesting part was to learn how the Omaura and Jopo classrooms, designed for pupils with learning difficulties, were incorporated in the schooling structure. In these classes, the productive learning methodology is applied. In accordance with its parameters, the classes use an individualized approach, with learning in real workplaces in the community and the development of a new role for the educator, very different from that of the traditional instruction. Lively corridors with very warm and welcoming interiors that transmit the concern of Finland's schools for the well-being of their pupils. On the last day of the Congress, the results were presented of each group's experiences in the different learning sites. A diverse range of artistic and multimedia products, theater performances, etc., were offered as an interesting sample of the great potential to be found in getting out of the classroom and using external spaces for the education of young people. Everyone agreed that it is the responsibility of education systems to renew their approaches, implement attractive techniques to learning, innovate in resources for satisfying creative capacity, and make it possible for students to acquire life skills and skills for living and sharing with others. In this regard, productive learning is a paradigm because of its enterprising character, and as Michael Fullan says in his theory of the forces of change, the innovations and reforms that work are generally demonstrated after they have been put into practice, not before. Orientation, action, reflection and evaluation are also the exercises habitually applied by INEPS to matters of internal management, organization and promoting and invigorating the network. These exercises take concrete form in an open and dynamic way in the framework of the General Assemblies held during the Congresses. This year, for example, a part of them was dedicated to holding elections to the Administration Council. Amid so many experiences and workshops, Finnish hospitality was present to everyone at all times. A splendid example was at the Old Town Hall of Helsinki, called House, where the head of Helsinki Educational Department offered Congress participants a magnificent reception that delighted everyone, enjoying the delicacies of a fine table. Finland is an extraordinarily beautiful country, with Helsinki, the young daughter of the Baltic, a lively and unpretentious city. The educators left the city behind for a few hours to step into the past with a visit to the Suomenlinna World Heritage Site, a sea fortress built on 6 islands, standing at the entrance of the Bay of Helsinki. Strolling around its streets, paths and towers, it was interesting to imagine the living conditions of the Swedish, Russian and Finnish armies there in past centuries, and equally to imagine the tranquil life of its current 900 inhabitants in the midst of the darkness and ice of the Nordic winter. Fortunately, the Congress arrived at the end using the Finnish antidote against this extreme climate, that is to say, singing, dancing and laughing. Unforgettable.